Alright, all you streetlight crusaders and a couple of you late night musicians out there, welcome back to the Tuesday Night Special. Now, before I mention the reason why we mentioned late night musicians out there, first off folks, the PR department actually gave the green light to Dan the Weatherman Stu to not only be Disco Claus, but to have an impromptu commercial for the Indy Awards for this year, which I am mad about, but what put a smile on my face is what I found on Facebook this past week, that Gravy Brown at 11 o'clock on December 23rd at the Tavern Off the Green will be performing live here in Morristown, New Jersey, which I can't wait to see this guy perform live and see what sort of crazy songs he's gonna bring up to the plate for that week's show. And hopefully the cops will not be called during the performance, because for some strange reason, and yes, because I was there before, at certain areas of the night, and I don't know why, but the cops always get called to break up the show. I don't know, it makes me believe that he's one of the lost members of the Blues Brothers, and if he does put on one of those fedoras and suits, he might as well be. And I mean that as a compliment, by the way, Gravy Bound, I really do. And with that said, folks, I think it's about that time for us to go into one of my favorite parts of the show that does include music in it as well. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, none other than the Indy Report, which is me giving you guys 2 news stories, followed up by local concert information from local artists performing in a local area live near you. And in our first news story, and it's sad news from the world of music, one half of the duo Roxette, Marie Fredriksson, unfortunately died this week at the age of 61 years old following her lengthy battle with brain cancer. And for any of you out there who don't know who the Roxettes are, their music has been featured in the movie Pretty Woman with the song It Must Have Been Love, but it's over now. And the only reason I know that song so well because as a joke, during the marathon for WJSB one year, I do believe prior to Valentine's Day, I played that song to all the broken hearts out there when I substituted one of the shows during the late night hours. Now, the reason I was able to play this song and I was introduced to this music was once again thanks to my uncle, which I like to say thank you for introducing me to such a wonderful band, because besides having that hit, folks, they would also have the hit song Listen to Your Heart, and along with it, the hit song of Joyride that was featured on their album Joyride. And unfortunately, for those who are wondering out there, their last album together would be in the late 2000s in the form of Good Karma. And unfortunately, they wouldn't be able to do a tour supporting that said album due to Hendrickson's deteriorating health. And we would like to say on behalf of Marie and her beautiful hair that is probably one of the coolest hairstyles we've seen out of the 1980s since A Flock of Seagulls, on behalf of the Tuesday Night Special, may your work live on forever and may you forever rest in peace. And in other music news, and hopefully some music news to bring the mood up, folks, for you Eurythmic fans out there, for the first time in 5 years, Eurythmics would reunite on stage for a benefit concert from Sting himself. And yes, it would be entitled We'll Be Together, after one of Sting's own songs from 1987. And to make things even better, folks, besides having Eurythmics there, they would be introduced by Robert Downey Jr., and later on in that concert, they would also have Debbie Harry along with Run DMC, or DMC from Run DMC, who would do a classic version of Rapture by Blondie. Then you would have Bruce Springsteen and John Mellencamp, who would team up together and do Glory Days, Pink Houses, and then would do Dancing in the Dark. And to wrap up the entire night, you would have James Taylor, Ricky Martin, Shaggy, and Sting, and even Robert Downey Jr. himself doing a cover of the classic Journey song of Don't Stop Believing. Now, granted, I'm not a big fan of that Journey song. I'll admit that up and down the road because I've heard it well over 1,000 times. But to see all these group of stars and musicians on stage performing this song, it's cool. It's absolutely cool. And for you fans out there who weren't able to capture this beautiful moment with your eyes, don't worry, because you can check out the concert featuring Eurythmics and the other groups of bands that was there on the Consequences of Sound.net page, only known as Consequences of Sound.net, to check it out for yourselves. And while you're over there, folks, and we forgot to mention this before, you can check out the greatest hits of the Rock X over there as well. And with that said, folks, speaking of greatest hits, I think it's time for us to go ahead and check out the concert information for this week, and we kick things off with Wednesday, December 11th, and the first band we have up is Russell Norkovic, who's going to be performing at the Ryland Inn in Reddington Township, New Jersey, at 5 p.m. Touch of Grey is going to be performing at the Stanhope House in Stanhope, New Jersey, at 6 p.m. Mary Bird is going to be performing at the Table 42 in Dover, New Jersey, at 7 p.m. You can also see David Gans, who's going to be performing at the Stanhope House in Stanhope, New Jersey, at 7 p.m. Mike Garner and the Coots is both going to be performing at PJ Ruffles Restaurant in Woodland Park, New Jersey, at 7 p.m. And to finally wrap it up for Wednesday night, you can see Mark Mayer and Mark Mayer's Music, who's both going to be performing at the Westbrook in Boundbrook, New Jersey, at 8 p.m. And on Thursday, December 12th, you can see these following bands performing in a local area near you live. 5 for Fighting, nice band name, is going to be performing at the South Orange Performing Arts Center in South Orange, New Jersey, at 6 p.m. Annie Missinaro and Chris Palmieri is both going to be performing at the Your Place in North Arlington, New Jersey, at 6 p.m. Roses in Stereo is going to be performing at the Tips in Union, New Jersey, at 6 p.m. DJ Remixer JRS is going to be performing at the 46 Lounge in Towata, New Jersey, at 7 p.m. The Coots and Jeff Gunther is both going to be performing at the Tavern 5 in Pennaquac, New Jersey, at 7 p.m. And apparently, according to the maestro, it's Pennaquac Township, New Jersey, just in case a couple of you get confused out there. Thank you, maestro. And besides Maestro saving that ballpark era, folks, the next band we have up is Stephanie Chin, who's going to be performing at the Lesbian Coffee House Holiday Party in Montclair, New Jersey, at 7 p.m. Then you have Leaky Bands, nice band name, who's going to be performing at the Dingbats in Clifton, New Jersey, at 8 p.m. And to finally wrap it up for Thursday night, you can see the I-287 classic rock duo, who's going to be performing at the Canal House in Borton, New Jersey, at 8 p.m. And for Tuesday for next week, which is the 17th, you can see these following bands performing in a local area live near you. DJ Remixer JRS is going to be performing at the Lit 21 in Newark, New Jersey, at 7 p.m. And to finally wrap it up for Tuesday for next week and all the bands we're going to mention for this week, you can see Third World, who's going to be performing at the Grammy Museum Experience at the Prudential Center in North New Jersey at 7 p.m. And if you guys want to check out the complete list of bands that we couldn't list during this very broadcast, and trust me folks, there were a lot of them, you can head on over to ReverbNation.com to check out the complete list of bands that we couldn't list during this very broadcast. And like I say at the end of all of these skits, go out there, support your local artists, and see these guys perform live. And trust me, they'll love you for it. And I guess with that said, we might as well head back into this music one more time. And when we return, we'll be back with the final segment for the Tuesday Night Special for this week, right after this. So don't fall asleep just yet, folks, and stay tuned.